sponsored by Cameron Commercial Vehicles. If you want to try and get a quality new and used van, then don't forget Sean German. You can go to the website. I'm Peter Martin, Alan Ruff, Alec Ray and Tam McManus are here with me. We're delighted that you could join us, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel, and you can become part of the PLZ family. There's lots to talk about in the Be Me headlines of a weekend of unbelievable football. Celtic are now odds on with the bookies to win the title after another late winner, this time at Kilmarnock. Chermiti's hit the goal trail yet again in another big game as Rangers close the gap on Hearts. Motherwell breeze past managerless Aberdeen. The Scottish Premiership over the weekend delivered 24 goals. It was blistering and dramatic, to say at the very least, and we want you to give us your thoughts on it as well. We'll certainly get our teeth into it. And as ever on the programme, we always like to throw a wee quiz question into you just to see if you are up on your football knowledge. And this quiz is fairly straightforward. I was looking at a little meme that was fired out about FA Cup since 2000. How many British managers have won the FA Cup since the year 2000? Ruffy, you want to have a go? Just at the number?
Oh, how many?
Yeah, yeah. That's what the question stays.
I thought you wanted me to name them.
Yeah, three.
I'll go 2.
1.
Okay, there you have it. So we'll give you the answer at the end. Thanks to Elite Joinery and Fire Protection for the quiz sponsorship. We'll give you the answer at the end of the programme. So the results: Dundee 2, Livingston 2, Falkirk 2, Dundee United 3, Hibs 2, St Mirren 0. And then on the Sunday it was Kilmarnock 2, Celtic 3, Motherwell 2, Aberdeen 0. And the game of the weekend, undoubtedly, Rangers 4, Hearts 2, and what a game it was. If you were looking for drama in that one at Ibrox, it had it all.
Yep, yeah, absolutely, and obviously Hearts started really brightly, got a early present off the Rangers, the way they presented that first goal to them, and then obviously Rangers kind of responded pretty sharply. But you have to give Hearts credit, to go there and get another goal, to out-jump John Souttar. I think he'll be disappointed with that one. But you have to say Bragger's header's tremendous to generate the power to beat Jack Butland from there on the way back, and then obviously they equalised. But then the second half, Rangers went into their own, and I think they ran out worthy winners in the end. Yeah,
were you impressed by them, Ruffy?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I thought it was great value for money. For a neutral. You could see, both teams going for it, which is great. You don't want somebody going and sitting in and spoiling the game. Hearts came out and gave as good as they got. The goals were good as well. And I think the whole 90 minutes was just entertaining from start to finish.
Yeah, I think it sends a clear signal when Danny Rule was talking after the match. He was talking about it's nice that there are 3 teams in the running for the title and they're right in the middle of it.
Yeah, they are. Listen, I thought it was a must-win game. I said it in the show on Friday. I thought Rangers had to win the game. In terms just giving the whole club confidence, giving the fans confidence. Ibrox sounded as if it was rocking for the first time in a wee while, and it was a massive game. It's a massive game for both clubs, but in terms of Rangers, they had to win it. They did win it, and I thought they deserved to win it. I thought Hearts probably started the brighter. I think if Hearts could have hung on to the lead a little bit longer. I think when you go 1-0 at Ibrox, you want to go 10, 15, 20 minutes with the lead. Fans start to turn a wee bit. Rangers got the goal right away. Then the second goal, Rangers hit back near enough right away as well. So they didn't keep the lead long enough for the fans to get frustrated. But I thought Rangers showed a lot of power in the second half and overpowered Hearts at times as well. So they'll be disappointed, Hearts, with the goal. I thought the goalkeeper, the one that he goes onto the bar, I thought he could have tipped it over the bar. I think he missed the ball completely when it hit the bar, Ruffy, and then it came down, and then Steinwinder won't sleep tonight.
Yeah, well, I think
it's really bad. I've got to just intervene. I mean, it's such a thin REM link to it. But Sidewinder sleeps tonight. I knew you wouldn't.
I never heard that.
Anything south of the Bachelors, you're gone.
No.
But he just thought he'd sneak it in there.
No, I thought whoever the Rangers player was there put him under pressure. To take a swipe at it.
Got to do better, Ruffy. He can't put that one on.
But I mean, I thought the Rangers player put his foot in and sort of made it difficult for him. But no, as you don't want to, you want to clear the line. There's a few episodes like that of players not clearing the lines. But certainly, no, I think, as you said there, that getting back in it, and the fans are up for it, that you could feel. And even when it was 3-2, you could feel the fans pushing Rangers forward, and you knew there was another one coming. But fair dues to the big boy taking his hat-trick.
Well, let's be positive about him, because the game itself and the programmes right across the board, I think from the written press to radio and broadcast, you always seek to try and offer a balance on it. So fair play to Chermiti. Gets 3 in a big game again. He steps up to the plate, Alec.
Yeah, and I think I've been saying for weeks, and I've been saying it on this show, that see if you get in between the sticks, clearly you're going to have better opportunities to score goals. And I thought the one with the header as well was really bright as well. He was sharp. Again, hit the first post, scored well. And then his third one, he just kind of puts his foot through it. So I think overall it's encouraging from him, because there was question marks, and I mean serious question marks on this guy. And it's interesting because the manager's come out and, it's been harsh. If you're really trapping up with 4 goals before yesterday, Peter, at the start of February, regardless of what you're doing, in your link play and your running channels and so forth, 4 goals is nowhere near enough.
Yeah, the stats are the things that kills you.
Absolutely, and the thing is, if you want to be at Rangers or Celtic, you've got to be hitting around about the 20+ mark from any credibility. The fact is he scored against Celtic too. Yesterday was a big match as well, so he's got the credentials to score in the big game. But see, the big games are great, but see the bog standard, run-of-the-mill, bread and butter stuff, you've still got to score goals in day games as well, because they're just equally as important.
And that's what gets you the 29 goals that gets, teams into the mix and with a chance to win titles.
Yeah, I totally agree with Ali. I think if you're a striker for Celtic or Rangers and you're playing 25-30 games a season, you've got to be hitting 20 goals, because you're dominating a lot of the game. You're playing the game in the opposition's half most of the time as well. So I think it's consistency for Chermiti. I watched him during the week against Motherwell. I thought he was terrible. And then he looked electric yesterday. So it's just getting the consistency every week, getting to a level and then keeping that level.
You think Nadiri helped him yesterday?
Yeah, I thought he was good. He was clever. He dropped in behind him at times, and I think it was for his first goal or his second goal where he slipped through. I think he slipped him in, he got a wee break of the ball, but then he takes it well, because it's easy just to lash at that one. But he actually just picks his spot. He picks his spot and beats the keeper at his near post. So I thought he showed great composure. But
the keeper was at fault there.
I know it was a good finish. Getting beat, but I mean, I thought it was a good finish.
He's not having it, by the way.
You always say,
I can't believe he tried to wind him in with that
should
one.
never get beat his near post on this show. You always say that.
No, if you're a goalkeeper, you don't. One of the things are you don't get beat at your knee post, particularly when you're there.
Right. So
you're thinking he's anticipating.
Goalkeeper's at fault.
No, I thought got to give the credit. I've got to give the striker credit, for having the ability to try and get it in there. And he did it. So no, I wouldn't take it away.
I thought he took it really, really well.
So the strength of Celtic over the past years has been the bench. I was looking at Rangers' bench yesterday. It's impressive. It's really impressive. I've never seen a Rangers bench that strong for a long, long time.
Yeah, so out with Chermiti's hat-trick, who impressed you and what do you think was a significant factor in them getting the win?
I actually like the boy Romans. I like the way he goes about his business. He's very efficient, just goes about, kind of marauding forward. But it was interesting because Rangers kind of played a little bit narrower with their 2 wider guys, which freed up the flanks, and I think they got a lot of joy, particularly in the first half. Sterling was getting down that side, Romans give and go. So I was impressed with the actual setup, the way Rangers went, because it's interesting, because you're always saying, well, how are they going to approach this? And he almost went like a 4-4-2 with Nadiri just coming off of Chermiti. I also thought Chugwani in the middle of the park was quite impressive as well. He looks as if he's a big driving force. Again, these guys are young players, so I think there's development to be had in them.
Yeah, overall Hearts, I mean, some people are saying that they knew Hearts were going to bottle it, and Derek McInnes, wasn't going to get the result there. Hearts don't have the squad. Just a few of the things that everybody has to say on this. Hearts are still top of the league. What did they not do that you thought they should have done?
I thought they didn't defend as well as they could. I thought in terms of the Rangers goals, if you look at them, the first goal's a good play from Rommels. He gets down the side and then puts a ball to the back post. But then it's a scramble. I think the goalkeeper should do better. The first one, I think he should tip it over the bar. And then the second one, you could argue near post. But I just think Hearts defensively looked a wee bit all over the place, and Rangers opened them up, carved them open, particularly in the second half as well. So
the full-back going off so early was a bit of a...
Yeah, I thought that ruined their flow. They had to change the system a wee bit as well, and he's been excellent for them.
Yeah.
He can play at full-back on the middle of the park, so they obviously had a wee bit of a reshuffle, but I just thought that they had to hold on to the lead longer, I think, as well, to get the Rangers supporters frustrated. But yeah, listen, they'll tick it off. It's a game they've lost, as Derek said. They've lost the battle, they've not lost the war. There's still plenty of games left, and Hearts have got a really, really good run of games coming up. I think 3 of the next 4 are at Tynecastle, and then 2 away games are against the bottom 3, so they're still bang in it, yeah.
You don't think they're all out of it?
No, I don't think they're out of it at all, Peter, but I think if you're looking at momentum, I think you're looking at Celtic and Rangers now.
Do you think Hearts are going to? I mean,
Could potentially finish third.
Well, that's what I was speaking to a few Jambos who actually think, I mean, the bookies have got them now as third favourites because of the Rangers and Celtic closing in on them. But going up to the split, you mentioned the games here. They've got winnable games that suddenly they could still have their noses out in front.
It's not a crisis at the minute, Peter. But if they don't beat Falkirk at the weekend at home, you think bubbles burst. If they go and beat Falkirk, then they're back in it, Peter. And they get that confidence back. If they don't beat Falkirk, you're thinking this could be the start of them crumbling. But there's still a long way to go. And listen, I wouldn't be going to speak about Motherwell as well. Real Motherwell out there. If they win their game in hand, they're 7 points behind Hearts as well. So it's really, really exciting stuff, and you can't really rule anyone out. Even Hibs are back in it, 15 points behind.
I know. I'm not going to dismiss them because I've been absolutely singing their praises all season long because that's the way I like to see football played. They're not going to win it though, but if they did win it, it would just be absolutely mental, wouldn't it? You'd need 3 teams to have an absolute crash.
Yeah, absolutely. And, but the one thing they're doing is they're staying the pace. They're not dropping away. They don't look as if their form's dipping. If anything, they're getting stronger. As a group, they look as if they're as strong as they can possibly be.
Clean sheet as well. They're defensively, they're rock solid.
So they've got good attributes with no shipping too many goals, and then obviously at the top end they've got goals across the board really. So
can you imagine they won it?
Oh man, it'd be we just build a statue of this guy and put it in. We could all just retire.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be incredible. But see the fact that he's still maintaining, and I wouldn't say that he's egging it up, I feel like, but he's just saying, listen, don't rule us out yet. He's just kind of. I like the guy's confidence. I think it's breeding right through the team, and they're clearly kind of picking up results, Peter.
You're not having it, Ruff, are you?
No, I'm just trying
7
to think
points,
off the top of my head. Have they went to Rangers and Celtic away from home and won games? The way Hearts have?
They drew with Rangers, did they not?
They drew 3 each with Hearts right at the beginning.
Yeah.
They lost the last minute goal to Celtic, I think, with 3-2, was it not?
Yeah,
they beat Celtic 2-0 at home and played them off the park.
But they've not done what Hearts have done. Hearts have went to Rangers and
what does
went
that
to
matter?
Celtic. Well, I think more and more now, I think it's it looks as if home games now are a given. If it's Rangers, Celtic and Hearts, you've got to win your home games. We've saw now that away from home, the 3 of them are vulnerable. The 3 of them are vulnerable to drop points. So I think, I keep saying it when it comes to the split, as soon as that 3 home games and 2 away games are out there, there's going to be mayhem unless it's done properly. I know that you've got to play somebody so many times at home, so many times away. But if Rangers or Celtic or Hearts get 3 games at home and the other 2 get 2 games away, I think it swings a great advantage to the teams because they're winning all their home games.
Motherwell's joint top in terms of points, 31 points at home, Peter.
Yeah, well, they're away to Aberdeen, so that's a guaranteed 3 points. St Mirren away, Motherwell get Dundee United at home, then they're away to Celtic, then they've got Hibs, Falkirk, and then away to Hearts.
It's a few tough ones in there, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely.
You see, the thing is, you've got to go and kind of. They would fancy their chances against a lot of them.
Anybody?
Yeah.
I think they'd fancy it against anybody.
So, are you more confident that Rangers can now go on the evidence of what you're seeing now?
Listen, see if you take the points since Danny Rowe came in. I
Yeah.
think he's accumulated more points than any manager through that period. And again, it's really who can hold their bottle going into this final furlong, really, because you still got all these kind of. I think it's so evenly poised. I've said this for weeks. I feel as if teams could drop points and they're still not out it,
Yeah.
And then you've obviously got the split where you're going toe-to-toe with someone, and then obviously they'll all be playing against each other, but points will be dropped.
So you can't see. I mean, in previous years, just out of curiosity, in the helicopter year, was there a run that you went on that just was win?
No,
Can you remember?
No, I think it was towards the 10 games to go. We really kind of focused in. We got a psychologist in that year as well, and we were just going game for game. and then just trying to maintain in, and then obviously the split happened, and we were 2 points behind, and we were playing Celtic Parkhead, and you're thinking to yourself, right, okay, if we win it psychologically, you can turn it round, but obviously that didn't happen. But so it just shows you, because each other are all, I think it's tighter now than it was in that season that we were playing, Peter.
Yeah.
Because I didn't look at Motherwell. And
there wasn't somebody else in the mix that could.
Yeah, and I don't think even if the fourth team, which will be Motherwell this year as it currently stands at the moment, I think the fourth place could beat the top three in any given day, whereas I think back then I don't think that was possible.
Can I ask you this, and just picking up on your point there, what did the psychologist say, and what was the reaction like among the players when the psychologist...
Well, the thing is, he did like group work, and then he also did individual stuff and all that, and how you saw yourself and roles. So it was
Did you embrace it?
No, when I was 29, I started doing psychology, and I thought it was a really big part of the game. Yeah. If you'd have got me before 29, I'd have told you a pile of old tosh. I'd have been sitting like, oh, psychology. And then I started embracing sports science and all that as well.
Yeah.
So the thing is, if you can buy all that stuff and you buy in it, we've got a wee group at our place as well who are kind of buying into a lot of that stuff as well. So it can take you a long way. All you're looking for is just an added advantage.
Just those margins.
That's it, just an added advantage.
And now in contrast, should I move on to the next game or then get Ruffy's thoughts on a psychologist? Is there any point?
No, obviously, if you've never done it before, I can't comment on it.
Yeah.
You know, I've never ever been anywhere near
a
club, you know.
On a downer. I'm a Savoy.
Hey, Ruffy. You ever felt low?
Everybody's did. I think every footballer has felt low.
Yeah, but you've never needed us.
Fortunately, I've been able to get out of it myself. But no, I've never done it before, so it'd be very difficult for me to say no.
Do you know when you talk about psychologist? When I was a Dundee manager, I had to meet a guy called John Bennett. And I says, who's John Bennett? And John Bennett was the Dundee United director.
Oh yes, that's right.
And I had to go and meet him in a hotel, and he was kind of interviewing me. And I'm looking at this guy going, what's the relevance here? And I was chasing down the title in my second season for Hamilton. And then he says to me, what's your thing? I says, yeah, we've got Dr. Cox from Stirling University. He went, what? Psychologist? Surely you're the psychologist. And I went, no, well, if it's good enough for Sir Alex, it's good enough for me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he blew his whip. But, you know, it was like trying to sell someone a psychologist that didn't think it was a thing. You know, it was
we had a way back in the year, Jackie Husband, who was a previous Thistle player, and Jackie used to do a wee bit of physio stuff, and before a game, he was into like massaging you. You know, to relax. You see, you go into the physio room, and you're sitting and he'd be massaging players' heads and all that. And next thing, you bet he would come and go, hey, what's happening? What's happening? Way behind his time.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I don't know. I don't think they need a psychologist at Celtic Park. They've got the master, who somehow manages
the anointed Mark Mannion.
Just absolutely. I mean, it's getting to the absolutely bonkers situation now. We will talk about Neil McCann's comments in a minute. Obviously, big game was Rangers Hearts, undoubtedly, but at Rugby Park, the game itself. I looked up at the clock, and I'm not in any way any kind of visionary or anything like that. I looked up at the clock, and it was 82 minutes time. And I thought to myself, with two players down who have been injured for a wee while, there's been a wee bit of time wasted. There was a lot of subs, and I just looked at it and I thought to myself, okay, there's going to be 7 minutes additional time here, so there's 15 minutes to go. And I can remember I walked past an agent, and I walked past Kenny Brannigan at half time, 2-0. Celtic were rotten, and Neil McCann was 100% correct. Kelly played really good football, got their just rewards, and I said, you know, if Celtic score early, they'll win this, because that's the nature of where they're going at the moment. And Tam, and so it proved. I mean, Neil McCann was raging with the 7 additional minutes. Did he have any cause?
I don't think so, Peter, because I watched the game myself. There was 2 fairly serious face knocks. I mean, balls blasted at point blank range off of 2 Kilmarnock players' faces. They were down for at least 2 minutes. I thought maybe 2.5 minutes. And then I think there was 4 or 5 subs the second half as well. So, and another thing is, the other teams are allowed to score in the 7 minutes as well. It's not just Celtic. Kilmarnock had opportunities on the counter-attack to to score as
some,
well.
yeah.
And it was a game of basketball. Celtic were going for the winner. Kilmarnock were breaking up the pitch. So, listen, they just had to see it out, Kilmarnock, and defended the third goal particularly poorly. We were speaking about it earlier. He's got to, he can't from a throw-in turn go to the byline and flash it across the goal. There's got to be some sort of block. There's got to be somebody in front of him to stop that. And Kilmarnock got what they deserved in the end. And for that poor defending and the throw-in, just a throw into the long throw into the box, they can't defend that as well. So they defended those two goals really poorly, Kilmarnock. So for all they were good going forward, I thought defensively in those two situations they were really, really poor. And Celtic just go to the end, Peter. We've seen it in the last 3 games. You never write Celtic off. You just think there's still a minute left, they could score here, and that's how it proved.
The funny thing was, Ruffy, when I was at the start of the game, when everybody's coming in, and I'm sitting there in the press box, up walked Pat Bonner, and I said to him, "What do you make of Martin's return?" We're chatting away, and I said, it's so strange this side, Pat, because it reminds me of your centenary side. The Celtic fans are going for a pie at 93 minutes, thinking I'll come back in for the late winner, and that's the way it panned out. But I mean, 2-0. The other thing which a lot of people are forgetting is at 2-0. Kilmarnock had the chance to go 3-0 in front. I mean, it was a straight header underneath the bar. If he heads it down, it's a goal.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've been saying all along. It's great to score goals late on like that. But for me, it might happen 1, 2, 3, 4 times. But it's not going to happen all the time. And the evidence is, over 90 minutes, they're not good enough to beat the 2 teams at the bottom of the league. For me, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at, for 90 minutes, can he beat Livingston and they can't beat Kilmarnock? So there's something drastically wrong somewhere.
Yeah, Martin O'Neill, to his credit, came into the press room and said, "Listen, we can't keep doing that. You cannot keep losing goals and then hoping that there's going to be..." And as one of the Daily Record, I think it was Daily Record Sunday Mail, Swanee, come up to me and he said, Celtic are just a team of moments. And I thought it was an interesting point, Alec, because it's a moment that somebody has to produce something outrageous to get them back in the game, rather than a team collective where you say, for example, Brendan Rodgers' team would continually batter you, pass. These are moments where Taneke has to come up with a 20-yard curler.
Yeah. No, but listen, the one thing about it is Ruffy was talking about the bench for Rangers. Taneke, the goal he scored was absolutely tremendous, and they got it early enough, so you were absolutely right, because you could see the momentum shift, and it was a very untraditional Celtic goal with the long throw.
Yeah. But
once they get that, I just felt as if the way Celtic play, they continue to probe, they continue to do the runs in behind, and Chwanchara, the actual skill that he produced for the goal was excellent. But on the flip side to that, if you're Neil McCann, you're doing your nothing. Because
what should they have done?
Well, you have the midfielder in front, and then you have the centre half directly behind him, and just smother him so that he doesn't have the time to get to the byline, doesn't have time to kind of receive it into his feet. But what happens is the centre half backs off, and then he just pushes the midfielder out of the road, kind of rolls out to the byline and flashes it. And at that moment, you're thinking to yourself, if you just do the basics, then they see it out, and then everybody goes, that's a great point for Kilmarnock. So regardless of the 7 minutes, I think that would be a source of frustration for Neil, because again, if you recognise that and stop at its source, Celtic don't get that opportunity.
And even the long throw, and there must have been about 5
Celtic
Kilmarnock defenders. No, there's 5 Kilmarnock defenders in there when the ball eventually drops, and Nygren's 2 yards out, Ruffy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was fortunate to get a break off one of the Kilmarnock defenders, that you're just looking for somebody to put their foot through it, but none of the Kilmarnock defenders could do that. And you have to say it was a very fortunate goal. He didn't have to do much with it. It bounced into... I thought he changed his feet quite well. I thought he was going to hit it with his right, but he hit it with his left. No, I mean, that's what it is. I mean, as the guys are saying, when you're playing Celtic and all of a sudden it's 2 each, the reason they're getting these goals are because the teams they're playing against are saying, well, 2 each will do us. Let's try and see this out. So they're getting deeper and deeper and deeper, and Celtic are getting forward and getting more chances. That's why they're scoring so late on, because other teams are trying to save what they've got.
I seen a stat doing the rounds today. 11 times Celtic have scored in the last 5 minutes in all competitions. And that's not, maybe we go, oh, you can't keep doing that. But that's a trend. That's not just something that happens. If if you're scoring 11, what, out of 30 odd, whatever games it is.
Yeah.
So you look at that and you think to yourself, that's some going.
And especially when you're playing against, if say you're playing Hibs or you're playing Hearts, they'll know that as well. The opposition will know that. They'll look at the clock and go, we're 1-0 up, we had 5 minutes to go. This game's not done yet. And Celtic players will believe we'll get an equaliser, we'll get a winner.
Yeah.
And I just think it's that momentum. You're saying they can't keep doing it. Well,
You can.
they can.
Well, fundamentally, where is the San Andreas fault here? Where is the weak link that they keep making mistakes to keep
I
going
think
behind?
Celtic defensively have been really poor the last few games. I think the first half, the two centre backs got bullied with Jules. Every cross that came into the box, I thought, come on, let Mike score here. He scores a great goal, Jules, cuts inside and puts it in the corner, but they were all over the place. Goalkeeper for me as well.
Well, it's interesting because over the last couple of weeks, we're going to pull off a few really good point blank saves.
Yeah.
I think
The second one is looped, and you can't. Once you've dived, you can't move yourself. You're up in the air, and it's going to. Momentum isn't going to get you to the ball. It's not as if you're flinging off your feet. You're hanging up there, and it's. It was one of the ones. Once you've turned, you're turned, and you're not going to get it.
Positives on both sides. Again, Tyrese John Jules.
I'm worried for him. See the way he pulled up.
Yeah.
It looked as if he pulled his thigh.
flexor or something.
Yeah, something. Yeah. And I just hope for Kilmarnock's sake, because he's been absolutely tremendous. Was it 8 goals in 18 or 19 games?
Yeah.
That's some going.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
going. And it's not just that. I thought he led the line well, and
Excellent.
I thought overall he was a real handful.
The problem for him is he's been injury prone, and when he started, I actually think he might have been in tears coming off because he put his top up to his eyes. He was really.
Peter, as soon as I seen that, the way that he flicked his midriff forward, I thought he's the top end. I thought he's either tore his thigh or something might have come off the tendon. I just hope it's not too long for him.
Yeah, the one thing I would say about Kilmarnock is that, and Neil McCann was right to point it out, there are moments in a game for long periods where they look a right good side. They played for the first maybe 20, 25 minutes at Fir Park against Motherwell, and they played some good football. He just needs that consistency. I don't think they'll be. I can't see that. I can see them getting away from it.
I think he's gave him a lift. I think that's what they needed. They needed a different voice, or I don't know. But they look a better team now under Neil McCann and Dodgy. They definitely do. Peter.
If they're in the playoff, Tam,
and at 2-0, you'd have been Stephen Robinson, Big Elvis. Not they've been sitting going, "I'm just getting on here."
If they're in the playoff, I'd bet them to stay.
I think if. I would fancy the second bottom team to beat the playoff team in the Championship, just because I think it's stacked against the team. It's stacked against the team in the Championship, unless you potentially finish.
Come on, you. You're the director there. Come on.
Yeah,
I'm just giving my opinion.
Yeah. The great thing about it. Well, this is the joy of the game, by the way, because he's saying that. Yeah. Your man here sitting with his manager. The two of them have absolutely produced heroics for Partick Thistle.
I think St Johnstone would probably be the best one in the playoff after Thistle win the league.
Yeah, what do you make of that, Ruffy? Has he tagged himself?
That's a big retraction.
He dragged himself out there.
You want an invite? Yeah. I'll get you a couple of briefs.
A meal as well. Well, because you and Mark are undoubtedly sitting there saying to yourself, have you exceeded expectations? And with that, can you flip it on again after that by, once you answer that question, say to me, how difficult do you feel it is down there if you have to play 6 games to get to?
Well, I have to be honest with you, I haven't really experienced it, but if you listen to Mark last year, it's so kind of quick flip around, and then you're asking the players to go again. So it is all geared towards the Premier League team. They have to all of the 2 games. They tell me that second place is obviously a Brucey as well, because you don't have to play another round of games. So I don't know, but it's interesting because the thing is, it's like as I said, our game was cancelled at the weekend, and I was flipping back and forth to the games, St Mirren, and I'm just trying to keep my eye on as much football, because you just never know what it's going to take you.
Kenny says Thistle can beat St Mirren. Lots of people.
A good marker. I mean, if you a good marker in the Scottish Cup. Obviously, you're playing them just to see, maybe meet them again in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so tough, Ruffy, to pick somebody in the bottom end of it.
Yeah, well, of the playoffs,
Yeah.
it's only happened once, isn't it? Was it Hamilton beat Hibs? I don't think coming for the fourth place, but second place would be a lot more easier. You would think, obviously with the demand in the games. And Alex, right, they come fast and furious. It's 2 games in a week. So you've got to depend on the pool of players that you've got, and injuries, suspensions, all that comes into.
Yeah.
But I thought St Johnstone sneaked a wee win the weekend there, gave them a wee bit of breathing space, but they've got a hard one. I mean, they're all hard games, but they've got a harder game this week than I think what yous have got. Yous are at home against Airdrie. I'm just looking at the fixture list.
Yeah.
So I don't think that first place is done and dusted.
Yeah. Listen, if we were talking about positives, I also like the boy Thompson at left back for Kelly.
Did you not think for the second
Yeah.
one he's trying to usher it out, but it's not going out?
And it's not going out. I know that was the one moment, Alec. I have to say, it was the one moment where I looked and I thought he plays so well. He gets forward. He can get good balls into the box. That was the one moment where I thought to myself,
The ball was never going out. I know you can.
I know.
You can see it on the telly.
Can you tell his face? He knew himself. He's looking. Yeah, I like him as a player. Listen, we've all had a boo-boo at one point or other, and he knew it himself because he that 1,000-yard stare as if to say somebody's going to clobber me for not doing the right thing there. Celtic manager makes 3 changes at half-time that were so significant in the game. I mean, you can see the class act that is Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Chavanchara and Tedeschi, and they make the difference. The problem I have with that change is the 3 players that come off, and Hatate just looks a spent force.
I don't know what's going on with him and Maida. They just don't look interested at Celtic anymore, particularly Hatate. I've watched him the last couple of games and he looks as if he'd rather be anywhere else bar Celtic, so that's a problem, especially when Engels injured. So you won't need.
How long's he out for, Tom?
March, I think.
End of March.
He's going to be out for 46 weeks. So that's a problem because you're quite light in there now, and you need a Hatate firing. Hatate's one of the best players in the league if he's firing, but he hasn't been all season. So it might be an opportunity for Oxlade-Chamberlain to come in and start starting games now.
And last point. If you score a last-minute goal, are you jumping into the Celtic end?
I think they're jumping in anywhere, particularly the last kick of the ball. I thought it was a great finish as well on his weaker foot. And on that AstroTurf, it's a great cutback, but if you get that wrong at all, you sky that. So I thought he finished it really well, and then, I think the emotion of that, you're into the crowd. I've seen somebody try to take a selfie of him and all that.
Yes. Have you ever done that, Alec?
Phone away.
Yeah.
Do you know the thing is, I managed to get a few goals in my career, and I always the one that used to always bug me, and I mean really bug me, see people run away and go,
kissing the jersey, I'm not having
and then
it.
obviously taking the top off and getting one aim, I used to go, see if I ever do that, somebody just come up and punch me right in the dish.
Yeah.
And there was one time I scored a 3-0 down we were at half time against Portsmouth. I was a relegation dogfight.
Play for Wolves?
For Wolves. Come back out and half the stadium would be a line for the boozers, right? And I scored one of the ones. It was one of the ones you get back across time, a bit like Braga's yesterday. Boom, back at a big dolly behind the goalkeeper. And I've just went like that with the tap off. It was the first time in all the goals.
Punch yourself.
See, when I honestly, I go, what are they doing, man?
Yeah,
and then I found myself getting at one of them.
I know. I'm not having kissing the badge stuff.
Oh no! I think it's a load of crap. Then 5 minutes you're away at another club. I don't get it now.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, from there, one other game that was on the Sunday, and it was 3 magic games, and then of course fantastic goals scored again on the Saturday. But Motherwell 2, Aberdeen 0. Aberdeen managerless. I am highly critical of this whole charade that's going on at the moment. I just think Aberdeen should have ambitions to try and get in that top 6. I think Motherwell killed them off, and again, Eli just...
Yeah, it looks as if they're just kind of writing off the season now. They're just thinking, well, we'll look ahead to next season. There's somebody obviously out there who's going to come in the summer, and they're just thinking, we'll wait for him. I thought Aberdeen played well, judging by the highlights. I thought Nisbet, looked lively, but unlucky with one off the post. Aberdeen had opportunities in the game. I thought they played pretty well, but Motherwell just churning out wins. I don't think they were at their best, but Eli just, great finish, great first touch. Actually, a great ball through, just battered into him, right through the lines. Fired into him, takes a touch and finishes it, and then they get the one at the end when Aberdeen are pushing forward. But just another routine win for Motherwell, and as I said, they're not a million miles off the top 3 or 4 now, and they'll be looking to try and catch them. But for Aberdeen, you know, they've got to play for the Scottish Cup now, so I don't see them getting into the top 6.
Yeah. Do you know the thing that they do really well, Alec, is they have breaking midfielders who actually time the run to run beyond a back line that's tight to get those little spaces, and Justice done that to great effect.
One of the things, the little combinations, Peter running about the box, you know, the little give and goes.
Yeah.
I watched it again last week against Rangers, the little give and go at the edge of the box. And when you've got players that are cute enough to do that, they cause opposition so much problems. And it's midfielders who want to get goals as well, which I like, because the thing is, it's another string to your bow. I'm looking at Aberdeen at the moment, and it's again, and I don't know the circumstances, but from the outside, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, see, if I was an Aberdeen supporter, I would feel as if I was being sold a little bit short, partly because they've waited. What was at the beginning of January he left, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you've pretty much.
It's about 44, 45 days.
And that's what I'm saying. So the turn of the year, and then but by the way, it doesn't have to put pressure on the new guy coming in and to hit the ground, because they've waited this long for this guy to be appointed.
Yeah, and they've got a big squad.
Yeah, no, and I get that. I look at some of the players, and then I've obviously brought Tommy Dock in to assist with Peter, but it looks to me as if they're just kind of seeing their way and kind of stuttering towards the summer, really. And if they get knocked out of the cup in the coming
Wednesday night, I think it is.
Is that what it is?
Aberdeen, against Motherwell.
If you get out of that, then your season's done. Because the top 6 is no attainable for me.
No, exactly. Another thing about it, Ruffy, is some fans are looking and saying to themselves, well, I'm not going to bother going there. That's the problem with it.
Yeah, and I think in all fairness to the other teams, I think the Aberdeen away sport has been very, very good. If that stops, that's money. You know, other teams losing money, their support no coming to away games. You know, that'll happen. If you're in Aberdeen, you're going to go, well, nothing to play for. Why am I travelling away down to Glasgow? Where am I going there? So it is a difficult one, you know. But I mean, within light of the managers that they've had, and it's no what, maybe this is the case. We're going to wait because we think we've got the right man. But as Alex says, he's got to be the right man when he comes in.
Willie says when Motherwell are favourites at Pittodrie, it must be worrying as a Dons fan. And I fancy Motherwell to knock them out.
Yeah, no, the good thing. But see, the thing is, at the weekend they did create chances.
Yeah,
so you're thinking to yourself, listen, get a decent crowd behind us, and then just try and have a go and try and get through, because you're a couple of games away for a final.
Yeah.
So you know, it's no. That's the way I'd be trying to sell it. See, if I was Tony and Peter up there, I'd be trying to sell it. Say, right, listen, let's double down on the World Cup. You know, just put everything into that, and then hopefully you can get through. But if they'd go out, it's the other side of the coin. It's like you're just going through the motions to the final day.
The winners of this tie played in Fairland, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Away.
So, what an opportunity for a Motherwell or Aberdeen to get
The final.
disrespected in Fairland or Lenny, but being a championship team to get a chance to go to a semi-final.
Yeah, okay. Give us your thoughts on it. Aberdeen fans, can you get the win on Wednesday? Is the season maybe a damp squib for you now? Do you think the Dons fans will start to drop off when it comes to the tail end of the season? Because we have been talking, Ruffy, continually about how top, middle and bottom was alive. I don't think middle is alive.
No, I think folk have spoiled everybody else's chance with the form that they've had this year. You know, and a fair amount of points in the bag. You know, they'd have to go on a very, very bad run. But their incentive is to get in that top 6. You want to be trying against Rangers, Celtic, Hearts. It'll be the same with the Motherwell players as well. You get in the top 6, you're playing in big games, big crowds. You know, that goes with it. And that's what they'll be hoping for an end of the season.
Was it a wee surprise for you, Ruffy Falkert, losing to Dundee United?
No. Now we've brought that subject up, you know. It's not fairness, it's fair that the two of you are quite happy to
You're a
open
broken
up.
clock's
Open up.
right twice a day,
Absolutely. Anybody who listened to the show on Friday, you know, there was people on there telling me to punch him and him, you know, because of the disdain of my predictions.
Yeah,
Scandalous.
Yeah, you're not. But you got it right, Ruffy.
No, I thought,
done,
I have to be perfectly honest, I think the sending off helped me a wee bit. I thought Falkert decided to take something at the game, but we'll probably talk about that.
Well, that's what we're on to now. I was just about to say to
A
you.
sending off for me. I thought the pace, the boy was at Waters, wasn't it? It was going through, I don't think either of the two Falkert boys on either side would have been got to him before he got the 18 yard. Before he got his shot away anyway.
My God, I thought it was harsh.
I just
A
think
long way.
I bet if he gets away from him and he's beelining and
He's not going.
I'm not sure he catches him.
VAR, you got it right?
Yeah, I would suggest he did. It's interesting because obviously the on-field referee gave a yellow on the day.
Yeah.
And then that's the idea of VAR. And again, you get a good look at it because if VAR's not there, you're the old days you go, oh, he's got a long way to go. You know. But the pace that these guys are moving it as well.
Down in England with the FA Cup with no VAR, they're now seriously saying to themselves, listen, should we be limiting there in the English Premier League? And usually when you get the big leagues, when you get the big five coming together, they're saying that there needs to be a full review in the summer, maybe after the World Cup or whatever, to review what we're using VAR for. Is that something you'd embrace?
Yeah. Listen, the thing is that there's times. There's an example last week. VAR intervened with the Man City. Everybody in the place would have been happy City got the goal, but then they end up sending Sloboslai off. I said, come on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think common sense goes out the window in these situations. Listen, I know I don't mind VAR. I really don't.
Yeah.
And again, sometimes VAR will get it wrong because again, it's a subjective opinion.
From the VAR official, yeah.
And then but I actually like the fact that it kind of gets quite a lot. It gets offsides. Goal line technology would help as well because we don't really have that up here, Peter.
Yeah.
So
I'd like it to be limited in its use, rather than a situation where I feel as if sometimes the referee is relying on somebody else to referee the game. Is that fair comment?
I think if there's no VAR, it's the referee's common sense. But I think when it's VAR, I think it's rule book stuff. It's going to the letter of the law, right? Yeah. I don't really want to chop this goal off, but it's on the letter of the law. It's in that book there that I've got to chop it off.
Yeah, but managers are saying you're re-refereeing the game every minute of it. Yeah. It's constant. It's like referee wants to make a decision. I'll just leave it because he'll get it. He'll pick it up.
Do you know the bit that gets me, Peter? I don't think. I think referees are waiting for it to get picked up. Actually, and they're making the big calls.
Yeah.
Do you know? Because how many times you go, oh, there's a penalty. I'm blown for a penalty, and we're
still not hearing what the VAR official is saying to the referee.
Yeah. No.
And by the way, at that point, he's saying, I'm going to show you this 32 times at different angles constantly, and I'm going to be in your ear telling you something. And when he's saying,
it's difficult to change it.
Absolutely. How many referees have got the back end? I've actually seen maybe a couple of referees in big games, Ruffy, have turned around and said, no, I'm standing by my decision. Yeah. Not many of them.
It would be a lot easier for us to make that decision if we knew what the dialogue was.
Well, that's what I'd like to hear.
No, they obviously know what they're saying to each other, but it'd be interesting for us to make our mind up.
There was a boy in the English Premiership that was making his first appearance as a referee, asked to go to the morning and stood by his guns.
Yeah, and fair play to him. Just out of curiosity, Ruffy, is the goalkeeper at fault? Falkirk's goalkeeper, Bain?
Well, obviously you have to be there. The dialogue there, if he shouted, I'm coming for this, and I would expect my centre half to go out the road. You don't expect your centre half to try and head it out of your hands because when Bain came out, it was an easy catch for him because he came out like that and never tried to catch it high. So he knew he had shouted for the boy to go out the road. So, no, I wouldn't blame him for that.
Blame the centre half.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I knew you that, but the unusual thing to get you, and again, it opens up a can of worms. It's very rare that I would ask you a question like that because you get absolutely no knowledge of ever saying to a centre half, I'm coming for this, it's mine.
Roughies, did you shout Roughies?
No. He never came for a corner. Never came for anything.
That wasn't a corner, that was just up in the air.
Nah, but you've never gone for anything that potentially could have got you hurt. So Gordon McQueen would have headed. Yeah, absolutely. Gordon McQueen.
Gordon McQueen. It was Gordon that said to me.
Dixie Dean scored 6 goals against you, and Dixie Dean's what, 5'9", and scored from a corner.
There was a header. The last one was a header.
So I don't know why I even bothered.
No. I don't know if you've noticed now, but modern day goalkeepers do not come and catch the ball. Punch. They flap.
Yeah.
Like the Hibs boy and him particularly. But I'm not having a go at foreign goalkeepers again, but the majority of them just want to flap, just want to punch. They don't want to come out into a crowd. I can't remember the last time a ball comes over and I've seen a goalkeeper coming out and going bump in amongst bodies.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. So I was way ahead of my time.
Yeah. You mentioned it at the top though. John McGlynn wasn't critical of his side, but Dundee United did need the win.
Yeah, they did because the Kilmarnock starting to pick up points, Dundee on a run, you know, and there was a few teams just starting to drag them into it. I think they were only 4 or 5 points off the second bottom, so it was a big result for them. Just pushes them, gives them a wee bit more breathing space and gets them up into 7th. I don't think they'll get in the top 6. I think Dundee United will probably just finish 7th or 8th out with that.
See how earlier on we're talking about Kilmarnock look good and they're on a wee positive.
Yeah.
Who's going to get drawn in then?
Well,
Who's going to jump ahead?
Well, it's Dundee and St Mirren. There's only 3 and 4
Dundee and
points.
St Mirren, yeah.
You know, so they're
Points.
there. Livingston are gone. Yeah, I just don't.
If Kilmarnock won 1, it's between 3 now.
Yeah,
Only
absolutely.
4 points separate Dundee from Kilmarnock after 3.
And with that in mind, Ruffy, despite the fact that great credit to Livingston for battling back, Dundee to Livingston to, I mean, it's one of those ones where I think Stephen Presley, you go 2-0 up and you think to yourself, great, this is a banker, this is a home banker here.
Particularly a 4 minutes and 7 minutes, you know, in the first 10 minutes of a game, you go 2 up, you're obviously saying, well, this is going to be one of the days, we're going to stroll through this. But I mean, all credit to Livy. Okay, the goalkeeper helped him with that one, you know, to get them back into the game. But I thought Stephen Presley handled himself quite well after the game.
The goalkeeper's had a howler, Ruffy. What's it all about?
No, but see if you're going
passing the ball out from the back.
See if you're going to, but that's what you're teaching the goalkeepers to do. You're teaching them to take a wee touch and look up and find somebody, and if there's movement, they're going to get caught because they're not outfield players, unless they're very, very good at it. I mean, we saw Jack Butland getting caught. You're going to get caught if somebody puts you under pressure. If you have it in your mindset, my manager wants me to get the ball, look up and find somebody 25 yards away.
Did you see the defenders? You know, that look as if to say, that's exactly what it is. By the way, I've had it off you that many times. But it's one of those ones.
Tracking runners, no.
They just
the wee Cruyff turned in his own box, pocket picked, bang, McCoy's run with
he's picked many a pocket better than me, by the way. But on that point, they just looked away, and it's as if to say, "Oh God, you've sold the jerseys, but we can't shout at you because if you don't know what you've done wrong." The one thing I was thinking about, and here's, you'll be able to maybe give me your thoughts on this. Tanetke come on, made a difference for Celtic. The boy, it was almost a one-man show from the boy Congreve. I mean, his left peg, he was beating players for fun. Sometimes I think his final ball is suspect, but boy, he's got great skill.
Yeah, listen, he's very assured, and I think Dundee have recruited well, and I think he comes under that bracket, and I think he's got a goal in him as well, and it's just, I think there'd be a source of frustration. Dundee looked as if they clawed away for this at one point, didn't they?
Yeah, I thought
slowly getting
dragged back in.
Yeah, so, he's a decent enough player, and I think when you've got the type of players, I think they're match winners that can make the difference. I was looking at the Livy centre forward, the big robust boy, Muirhead. So I think he's on 7 goals now, which is not bad. You know, you talk about a return. At one point, it looked as if he may well be going out on loan, and then obviously he's the main man up front now for them. So
He can hit a free kick.
he's
very, very good
Technique.
Some little technique in the team, you know, and he generally 9 times out of 10 he hits the target.
Yeah, I was thinking of the players who are good to watch. Obviously, that Eli Congreve certainly catches my eye. Free of injury, Nicky Cadden, left peg.
Oh, he was brilliant on Saturday, Peter.
You
I
know?
watched the game. He was probably one of the best games I've seen him for a while. I think they've missed him and he's been out injured. I don't think there's a better crosser of the ball in Scotland. I think he's the best crosser of the ball.
Yep.
And he doesn't need to beat a man. He just shifts it, bang, into the box. Great areas. Set up the second goal. I thought Hibs were comfortable. I really worry if I'm a St Mirren fan looking at that team at the minute. I mean, they're devoid of any sort of creativity in the final third. I think they could have played all day and not scored. Hibs were comfortable.
Made a good save, the keeper.
Yeah, he made a good save. That was probably their only opportunity, St Mirren. But Hibs strolled that game, Peter. And I think if you're a St Mirren supporter, you're worrying where your next win's going to come from.
What about Hibs? Owen Elding, great little flash. See if you're a youngster.
Great finish. Great run. And might be a wee bit of a changing of the guard at Hibs. You know, you'd him and the boy for Tottenham, Scarlett, and loan. You'd Boyle on the bench, Johan on the bench. I don't think they'll be there next season at Hibs. I think they'll both move on. So I think the Hibs are now looking to go, right, okay, we've got a couple of younger players in. Given that's his first start, the boy Elding, he scores, he'll keep his place for the next game. Anthony Soot will come on. Just looks like a big battering ram. He's a cult hero already. Scored 2 goals in his 2 appearances at Easter Road. So Yeah, I can just think you're starting to see maybe guys like Boyo and Johan maybe on their way out.
They're the big guy, isn't he? The big Croatian boy.
Aye, he's a big.
He's the Gogic there.
Aye,
yeah. Yeah, moments away from a yellow card.
Aye, it looks like
and we're only in the tunnel.
You're doing particularly well to beat Simon Murray. That's frightening when he scores. I mean, I don't know where he is or where he goes.
You like to see that when you score a goal, it's the best thing in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that.
Other than Marco Negri, he's never done anything.
And by the way, Michael Taylor's just said that. He says Simon Murray at the double, he loves a goal celebration. He does, but I think he's
veins are popping.
I think he's a Dundee fan as a boy anyway. I think he was a dark blue fan, so it's even more special, especially when you're getting goals at the tail end of the table. And I'm looking right now and I can't call it. I just think St Mirren, you're right.
See Simon Murray, because he was up at Ross County and doing well for a couple of years, and then that was a really good signing, because I think last year they got a barrel load as well.
16, he saved Dundee last season.
What happened to him at Hibs?
He was just rank rotten.
No, I done all right at Hibs.
What?
Done okay.
Think so?
Nah, I done okay. He was in there. Hibs had better quality, probably. You know,
I didn't think
competition for places.
I never
I
thought
don't remember him doing it.
No, I didn't think he set the heather on fire at all. I didn't think he really.
It was a great derby goal. Remember that one? Roof of the net at Easter Road, but.
Other than that, so Falkirk, slight slip up. Dundee, Livingston gone, Hibs against St Mirren, got a good 2-0 win, and you're suddenly looking there and you're saying to yourself, the bottom end is where it's getting, if it's tight at the top, it's certainly tight at the bottom as well, because Livingston with 12, Kilmarnock on 20, St Mirren on 23 and Dundee on 24, and then you've got that 4-point gap where Dundee United and Aberdeen will probably think they might be safe, but as I say, that magical number, Alec, is usually 37 to 40.
Yeah, I still think Dundee United and Aberdeen, I don't see them getting dragged in, Peter. I think they've got enough. All you're looking for is a couple of wins. And was it 6 wins? What did we say that Dundee United's got?
28 points.
Yeah, but
only won 6 games, they've drawn 10.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is they draw quite a lot, but they're still picking up points along the way. So I don't see any of the two getting dragged into it, Peter. I think 8 points is a really nice cushion. You know, I think there would be a massive
fall off
lapse.
Yeah,
if that was the case.
And of the 4 that are down there, we've already dispatched Livingston. So Dundee, St Mirren and Kelly, Ruffy, are you changing your mind? Are you twisting it here?
I think we'd all agree St Mirren's the one in free fall. You know, they need a spark for somewhere. Dundee, although it would be disappointing at the weekend, they lost their 2 goals, but it's another point. If you keep picking up points, you know, it takes a wee bit of pressure off you. But certainly, let's just hope St Mirren continue in that vein right up until the cup game.
Yeah, yeah.
I see when I look at St Mirren and I look at them and the performances, you sometimes see them, like a couple of weeks ago against Celtic, the cup final, and I look at the personnel they have and I think to myself, I don't see a team that's kind of getting, but they're clearly getting dragged into that kind of tricky kind of place.
I've been around the grounds, seeing the teams in the flesh, and you know, from the press box. Now I look and I'm saying to myself, I'm now getting worried for St Mirren, because I see the spark that Neil McCann's talking about with Kelly. I can see what Dundee have there, you know, and I think Dundee, I hope Tyrese John Jules doesn't have a long-term injury, but I see quality in both their sides, and I'm wondering what's happening with St Mirren that they can get away from there.
Yeah, and you're right. I just think I don't think Dundee will be any problem. I've been really impressed with Dundee this season. I don't think they'll be an issue, and I think Kilmarnock getting a wee lift for Doddsy and Neil McCann. So St Mirren's the vulnerable one for me.
See, for saying all that, Tam, there's only 1 point of difference. You know, you're saying, oh, Dundee's did this and so forth, but there's only a point.
Yeah, no, there's not much in it. It's going to be tight all the way at the end of the season.
Yeah, okay. Here's the quiz question, the answer, Ruffy, and the reason.
He doesn't know the question.
It might even be 0.
No.
I went 1.
Read the question.
Only 3 British managers
Uh-huh.
to have won the FA Cup since 2000.
And at the start, I said, name how many.
No.
I said how many. He read it and he went, 3.
I'll go Kenny Dalglish.
No, since 2000, right?
Managing, not
managing a club. 3 British managers.
That's a hard one.
It is.
Did he not play that 58?
No, I know exactly. Could have played at 58.
All foreign managers.
It is. It's 17 foreign managers, Ruffy. In fact, considerably more actually, now that I think about it, since 2000. 22 foreign managers and 3 British ones. Now, there's an easy one that everybody can just jump on, for God's sake.
So,
3 British managers since 2000. There's one that's an absolute Sir Alex, thank you. There's Sir Alex. Right. So there's 2. One of them.
now you chucked it. Now you've got one.
I'm going to say
3 British
Yeah, the
managers.
teams.
Yeah. Okay. Do you need clues?
I'm going to go for Moisey.
No. One of them. One of them was a guy that again I thought was a really good Tottenham manager, and they get rid of him.
Harry Redknapp.
Yeah, Harry Redknapp. Yeah, I thought Harry was a good manager for them. You know, sometimes they get rid of managers and you think,
He was pretty funny, so I looked there a couple
Brendan
of minutes
Rodgers.
last week.
I know he's throwing it. Brendan Rodgers. There's the third one.
Brendan, right.
Yeah, Leicester. Look at his wee face there, happy as well. Brendan. Brendan. Thanks for that, Tom.
Oh!
Yeah, fisticuffs. Brendan Rodgers with Leicester City.
Yeah.
Of course, got the other one, Sir Alex and Harry Redknapp. That was the 3 of them.
It's incredible, isn't it, when you think about it?
Absolutely.
It's like 25 years, 25 times.
And still not an English manager to win the English Premier League,
There you go.
which is since the setup of this, since 1992.
Probably not getting another one either. There doesn't seem to be too many managers out there.
There's not too many, to be perfectly honest with you. But I'll tell you, top, not so much middle. Well done to Willie, who says Fergie, Redknapp and Rodgers, absolutely. And
Google's working for Willie there.
And Jambo has just blown you out. He says Tam's definitely looked at the chat.
What about Jambo? What about Hearts fan? He's greeting into his jersey. Bubbles about to burst Jambo's shoe. Down you come.
No.
I know. Is there any chance you could stop being so hostile to people? He's Mr. Angry today because he's wearing his 1970s sloppy Joe top and wants to pick fights with everybody. But nevertheless, I have to say, well done to everybody who actually. And Willie says, "Is Rodgers British?" Yes, he was born in Northern Ireland. So 3 British managers that won the FA Cup. Thanks to Elite Joinery and Fire Protection for indeed sponsoring our quiz every day. We like to test your knowledge. Of course, there's lots of content on PLZ Soccer. I hope you hit the subscribe button and join the PLZ family. Good day today. There's the information that you need to join PLZ. Hit the subscribe button and you join PLZ Premium. You get a chance to get in and win yourself tickets to go and see the Champions League final with flights and accommodation thrown in as well. We'll be drawing that in April. Okay, there's a big week of football. Aberdeen, Motherwell, of course, in the Scottish Cup, the game that was postponed, and then on to the weekend again. If the bookies are saying that it's now Celtic favourites, Rangers tucked in behind them and Hearts going to finish third, are you changing your mind after watching the weekend?
I wouldn't agree with the odds basis on. As I said earlier on the show, they can't beat these teams over 90 minutes. So that there's, if you analyse that, you know that there's something going wrong.
Who's winning at the moment?
I think Rangers, momentum was with Rangers.
Yeah, Alec.
I couldn't call it, Peter. I just think Rangers have some tough ties as well over the next couple of weeks. So they have to negotiate an Old Firm fixture as well. And
do you think it's a helicopter moment?
I genuinely think this is going down to the wire. This,
yeah.
I really do.
Last day.
But I'd like to see it again. That would be just incredible for everyone involved.
You still get your medal?
I don't know what it is, but it'll be tucked away somewhere in the West Wing.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. Some caravan that, by the way. Tam, are you changing your mind?
I've been pretty consistent for a wee while now. I just think Celtic will nick it. I just think they're experienced and they're running will win them it.
If it goes down...
The Europe thing might kind of...
Yeah, this next couple of weeks is going to be huge for them.
I don't think they'll be in Europe too long. 2 games.
Funnily enough, somebody asked him that yesterday and he said, realistically we should be going for a holiday. He said, but I'm selfish, you might get a wee sniff at it, but he says, but they're a Bundesliga side, which was basically Martin saying we're coming out of that tournament and going for the last day, as Alex says, for a 98th minute winner.
I'm surprised, huh?
Can you imagine? Anyway, give us...
Only 2 subs that day, so probably about 8 minutes.
And I'm leaving. The last word belongs to Alec Ray. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks to Ruffy, Alec, Tam McManus, and from myself, Peter Martin. Thank you for listening and watching.